Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Drop. In this video, we're going to be talking about the lightest hoop shoes that you can get right now. And I did weigh the shoes, so I do have an exact number weight. However, shoes can, be plus or minus, 0.2, 0.3 ounces. So it's not exact, you know what I mean? And also different colorways, with different upper materials can be a little bit different, of course. But this is just from the shoes that I have, right? And just because a shoe is lightweight, it also doesn't mean that it's responsive though. Because if a shoe is maybe, the cushion is a little bit soft, it's a little bit mushy, or the traction isn't as good, it can make the shoe not feel as responsive or quick, of course. Also, the number weight isn't as important in my personal opinion. A shoe can be lightweight and also have a lot of foam going around the actual shoe with the midsole. It can be a little bit bulkier feeling. So just because it's lightweight doesn't mean it's going to be super responsive, right? But it can also help the shoe in how it overall feels, of course. But yeah, if you do want to get any of these shoes, I try to leave in the feed link in the description box. I try to tell you guys if the shoe is responsive or not. But yeah, I got a good amount of shoes, but I do have 11 spots, right? I have 11, it's a top 11. However, we do have a couple of shoes that did have the same exact number weight. But yeah, let's get it started off with number 11. And we got the Adidas Dawn Issue 6, and it comes in at 11.4 ounces. So yeah, Dawn Issue 6, amazing shoes. One of my favorite hoop shoes of last year. A really minimal upper. The cushion, the Light Strike cushion is really nice. The overall kind of like feel of the cushion underneath your foot is a little bit stiffer, but it still has good impact protection, right? With also nice heel compression. The traction is also phenomenal, so very, very responsive shoe. The next shoe in the number 11 spot is the Giannis Freak 6, coming in at 11.4 ounces, of course. So yeah, that shoe is also very, very responsive, right? Solid traction. Cushion is soft, but not overly mushy. Has nice kind of like bounce from the forefoot zoom unit. And the upper is really freaking thin. Like a really thin and soft material that also has pretty good support. It's like adequate for support. So yeah, the Freak 6 also is very, very responsive. And the last shoe in the number 11 spot, we got the Luka 77, which surprised me, coming at 11.4 ounces, right? So yeah, the Luka 77 also is a responsive shoe. It just picks up dust, of course. It picks up dust pretty quickly as well. But other than that, if you're playing on a clean court to a slightly dusty court, very, very nice responsiveness. The cushion, you are a little bit higher up off the ground. However, it's not super soft. It's not overly mushy. And it does have good impact protection because it is an outdoor shoe. It's made for outdoor use. And the upper also, it's not as thin as like the Dawn Issue 6 or the Freak 6, but it does have, it gets really soft first of all once you break it in, and overall support is good. So overall responsiveness for the Luka 77 is pretty dang nice. Alright, moving on to number 10, we got the 808 Ultra by Wave Weight, and it comes in at 11.3 ounces. So yeah, that shoe is really responsive, right? So the traction has a combination of tough rubber and GCU, so you have top tier traction. The cushion is also really, really soft, right? For me personally, I wouldn't say it's mushy, but if you do want a cushioning setup that's really stiff and responsive, it probably isn't the best option because it's just so soft and bouncy, but I do like that, and then the upper with the mesh material is really thin in the forefoot. So yeah, the 808 Ultra, extremely responsive, but also very, very comfortable, right? And we got another shoe in the number 10 spot, which is the Tatum 3, coming in at 11.3 ounces. So the Tatum 3 was not my favorite hoop shoe, you know what I mean? The traction just wasn't the best. It picks up dust. The cushion was very low to the ground, but the impact protection wasn't the best. And the upper was just not super supportive for me either, you know what I mean? So it definitely wasn't my favorite, but it is very lightweight and extremely minimal, especially with the upper, So yeah, there's number 10. Moving on to number 9, we got the Big 3 6.0, coming in at 11.25 ounces. So just a tiny bit lighter than number 10, of course. But yeah, the Big 3 6.0, I've been playing that shoe. I've been testing it. I'm pretty much done testing it. And it's a really, really nice shoe, right? The upper is extremely minimal, but the overall support of the shoe is really nice. Also, the cushion is super comfortable too. Super soft. Not only does it have good compression in the heel, but underfoot cushion is really soft as well. And the traction is pretty dang solid. It does pick up a little bit of dust, unfortunately, but still a very, very good traction performance. And then we also have another shoe in the number 9 spot, which is the Li-Ning Liren 5, coming in at 11.25 ounces. So yeah, the Liren 5 is really, really nice, right? The upper is just so freaking minimal. I don't know what it is. It's just one of the most minimal feeling uppers that you can get right now. It also has extremely good ventilation. The cushion also really nice, you know, especially the heel cushion. You have nice compression, but also nice bounce, and the traction is really good. You have really good bites, even on a dusty court, but also on a clean court, you have top tier traction. So yeah, the Lyrium 5 is very, very responsive feeling. All right, moving on to number 8, we got the Wade All City 13 coming in at 11.2 ounces, right? So that was with the blue colorway with the mesh material, which is supposed to be made more for summer, you know, has better ventilation, you know. But yeah, that shoe is very responsive as well. We got really good traction, very solid bites. Also, the cushion is a little bit stiffer feeling. It has full length boom, but it's a little bit stiffer for underfoot cushion if you want more of that kind of like stiffer, responsive feel, but it still has a nice cushion once you get going. It's still soft, you know. And also with the upper, it feels extremely minimal. Not only the mesh material, but also the Vajra material. That material is really, really thin too, while still having really good support and durability. So if you want the more supportive and more durable upper, get the Vajra, but with the mesh material, it feels better, right? So there is number 8. Now moving on to number 7, we got the Jordan Luka 4, which is weird because Luka shoes have never prioritized weight, you know what I mean? But with the Luka 4, it's freaking lightweight first of all, but also so minimal feeling, you know what I mean? Like it almost feels like a barefoot shoe to me. You just feel so low to the ground. The upper is so thin and minimal, and the cushion is really nice still, right? You got that Cushlon. It still has pretty good impact protection. I mean, it's not amazing, you know what I mean? But it's nice for how thin the foam is. It's nice for how low to the ground you are. The overall traction is pretty good though. It does pick up dust, so not the most responsive feeling shoe when you're playing on a dusty court, but when you're playing on a clean court, you feel pretty dang quick. So there's number 7. Moving on to number 6, we got the Nike Jaw 2 coming in at 11.05 ounces. I mean, Nike's kind of killing it with making really lightweight shoes, but I feel like they're sacrificing a little bit in their hoop shoes, you know what I mean? But yeah, the Jaw 2, extremely freaking lightweight. The upper also with the mesh material feels very minimal, right? The cushion is also very, very low to the ground. The court feel is extremely good, and also the traction is really nice in that shoe as well. So it's just a really minimal, lightweight shoe that you feel really responsive in. I just wish the cushion was a little bit better, you know, a little bit better impact protection, a little bit softer in my personal opinion, you know, but there is the Jaw 2 there. All right, moving on to number 5, we actually have a couple shoes in this category, right? So in number 5, we got the Ice Blood 2 V2 coming in at 10.9 ounces. A really minimal shoe, right? Not my favorite though, because it's just so narrow, right? So narrow, so thin. The traction could be a little bit better, you know what I mean? I wish the traction just had a slightly better bite, but it is a very minimal and lightweight shoe. All right, next we got the Sabrina 2 coming in at 10.9 ounces. And Sabrina 2, a top tier performer, amazing traction, amazing cushion. It actually has really good cushion for how low to the ground you are. You have nice heel compression, nice little bounce in the forefoot from the forefoot zooming in, and the upper feels extremely minimal. You know, so very, very lightweight and also very thin material that also has adequate support. The overall support of the shoe is pretty good. So there's the Sabrina 2, and last but not least, in number 5, we got the Adizero Select 2.0 coming in at 10.9 ounces. So not my favorite hoop shoe though. Not my favorite hoop shoe, but I do like the cushion. It has nice compression in the heel. It's soft. The traction could be better, and the upper it's really thin, and also the ventilation is really, really nice, but it's just not the best for like just wasn't the best fit for me. So my foot would move kind of like weirdly inside of the shoe, so I didn't like playing that shoe that much. But if you want a really lightweight shoe, that's really lightweight, right? All right, moving on to number 4, we got the Curry 12 coming in at 10.75 ounces. You guys already know the flows, the Curries are extremely, extremely lightweight, you know, so yeah, traction, one of the best stops that you can get right now, but it does pick up dust. The cushion also is very responsive. It's a stiff feel, and I wish the cushion was better, you know, maybe something a little bit softer, maybe include a little bit more bounce, but it is a responsive feel, and the upper, you guys already know, is really thin as well, but also the overall shoe is very, very supportive feeling, you know, so there is the Curry 12 there. All right, moving on to number 3, we got the Wade Shadow 6 V2 coming in at 10.55 ounces, right? So yeah, with that shoe, the V2 is made more for summer, right? And the upper has really good ventilation. Yeah, it's very, very good airflow. It's extremely thin, and also the cushion is pretty dang nice, especially the heel cushion with the full length boom. The forefoot is a little bit stiffer, it's a little bit more dead, but the heel is very nice. You know, you got that nice compression in the heel, and also for the traction is pretty dang solid. It does pick up a little bit of dust, but it's not terrible. It's not a dust magnet like the Luka 77 or the Luka 4. So yeah, the overall shoe is very responsive. All right, moving on to number 2, we got the 361 degrees BioSpeed BB coming in at 10.35 ounces, right? So the BioSpeed BB, yeah, I mean, I don't know how they made that shoe so freaking light, but they did. For the outsole, they're using RPU, which is a rigid polyurethane. It has really good traction and really good stops and doesn't really pick up too much dust. The cushion also is really nice. It could be that the foam that they're using is, you know, very low density, so it doesn't add too much to the weight of the shoe. And also the upper is so freaking thin and it has really good airflow as well too. So yeah, it's just a really lightweight and also minimal feeling shoe that feels extremely responsive, right? You feel extremely quick when you're playing in that shoe. And last but not least, at number 1, you guys probably already know, we got the Ultralight 2025, right? And it comes in at 8.5 ounces, which is, you know, we don't have the lightest shoe. The second lightest shoe is 10.35 ounces, right? So it's almost 2 ounces lighter. You know what I mean? Like, we have the 11 ounce category, the 10 ounce category. We got no shoes in the 9 ounce category, and then we got 8 ounces, which is the Ultralight 2025, right? So, yeah, of course, I haven't tried the Gamma 1. I heard that's one of the lightest hoop shoes I can get, but yeah, I haven't been able to get a pair. So, yeah, maybe check out the Gamma ones, but I haven't played in those. But yeah, if you want an extremely lightweight shoe that has, you know, still good responsiveness, then the Ultralight 2025 is also a really nice option. We got GCU in the forefoot, has really good traction. The cushion overall is soft, right? You have really nice underfoot cushion. They're using Super Boom, I believe it was. You got nice heel compression. However, the foam and the cushion is really soft, right? So when you're doing hard impacts, it's not the best for like impact protection, you know what I mean? But overall, when you're just kind of like playing, it feels really nice and comfortable. And for the upper, you know, of course, it's really thin. You got that very open kind of like mesh material. Airflow and ventilation is really good. And also the overall support is really good as well. It does pinch a little bit, you know, where the forefoot flexes when you first get the shoe, but once you break it in, it does get a little bit softer. So that's the list for the lightest hoop shoes that you can get right now. Again, if you guys do want to get any of these shoes, I try to leave in the link in the description box. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.